Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome in so much. My name is Todd. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Whether you stay the whole time or you jump around with the timestamps down below in the description later on YouTube, totally cool with me. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate any second of your time. We got some great member requested videos for you today. We're going to start off real quick with ToddReacts.com. That's how you request videos. These are all member requested off ToddReacts.com. The season and series tiers that you see before you are the ones you're looking for, so you can literally guide the stream. While you're there, check out the winter collection of merch available right now, shipping all over the world, 15% off for website members, of course. And if you're already there on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. It's totally free. Over 14,400 of you have already done so, and I appreciate it greatly. Hopefully the algorithm is working in your favor. It's one of those things, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it is what it is. And if you've been to ToddReacts.com, I'll just bring it up here quickly. You see that, hey, there's something about a holiday giveaway. And there's a button that says Enter Today. And if you click that button, it'll take you to the form and how you enter. It's that easy. So if you're looking to win something for the annual Joyful Holiday sweepstakes that we run here, we've been running it, I think this is the third year or something like that. Exciting stuff. Always happy to give back to YouTube subscribers. So if you would like to enter today, all you do is pick one item from the winter collection or the accessories. I give you nice little buttons to easily get there. And then you just fill out this information. Super easy. It takes like 3 seconds. And then you're entered. And then we will do a live drawing on December 1st. So you have until midnight Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't know what time that is in your time zone, just do it early. Just do it early. Do it, this coming week, early on the weekend, next weekend. There you go. You don't have to worry about the deadline. Deadline doesn't have to exist. But yes, enter. Good luck. And we'll be drawing that, as I said, December 1st. So that is next Monday's stream. So go ahead and enter today. Good luck. And last but certainly not least, I don't want to forget it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I forget to mention it, and I feel bad. It is the Discord. It is totally free and available for you to join. We have members from all over the world. I believe there's over 260-something members in there, so join us. We have conversations going on about all the fandoms, and if you don't see one that you're interested in or want to talk about, and chances are you'll find other people that want to talk about it too. Certainly just let us know, and then we'll make it for you. And you can find people all over the world that are interested in what you're interested in. So, and we have some fun community channels as well, as you can see. You can check that out on your own time. And you can see at the top, it tells you I'm live, which is super handy as well. But go ahead and join us in there. I will see you there. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump into the stream, shall we? All right, first up, here's the schedule of things today. We're going to react to a One Life to Live video, specifically Star, Cole, Langston, and Marco compilation. And then we do have Emmerdale, and it is an Aaron and Robert, so it's been a long time since I've reacted to Emmerdale. That'll be very interesting. And then we have a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. Daisy and Daniel, of course, we've reacted to them a couple times. And then we have a Shameless US, Carl and Fiona, which, trying to remember, I don't think I've reacted to Carl very much. So this is kind of a first. I'm sure I've done it once, maybe twice. There's been a lot of Shameless reactions over the years, but yeah, it might be one of the few. So I'm excited for that, and then we will wrap up stream and kick off the rest of your week with a House MD out of context video, which should be very funny, as Dr. House is quite the character, for sure. What's going on? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I see it's your first time. Excited for Emmerdale. Indeed, me too. That'll be the second video of the day. Looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and get that first one going so we can get to all these. Let's do it. Time of Our Lives, Star, Cole, Langston, and Marco. This is a tribute to the Fab Four, as they're called. The editor said last week, not only did we lose Sol and Larko, but we also lost the Fab Four, and I think that makes this whole thing even harder for me. One Life to Live will never be the same, and I miss them so much. This was posted 15 years ago. I'm not joking. You can see it yourself. 15 years ago. Oh my gosh. 2010. Oh, that's brutal. That is so brutal. Oh my gosh. Oh no. 15 years ago. Oh, that just made me feel so old. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Good Lord. All right, let me fix something really quick. I do see something incorrect or wrong that I need to fix. Nothing, regarding the videos. I just need to edit something really quickly. I want to make sure this goes flawlessly as humanly possible. Obviously, there could be some issues here and there. I have had some internet issues, but I am plugged into Ethernet, so hopefully that's not an issue for streaming. Won't be an issue for YouTube because I record locally as well and I upload that one. So there's never going to be an issue ever again, hopefully, on YouTube. All right, let's see if that should work. The only issue I have now is the video's loading. Come on now. Play with me. Coming here from YouTube. Awesome. Been subscribed for a year, but time zones don't line up with streams usually. Interesting. Well, welcome in. I'm glad you've been subscribed for a year. That's awesome. But yeah, the time zones are a little rough. That's the problem with having an international audience is, my schedule is probably not going to work out well for your schedule. And it's unfortunate. It really is. I wish there was a way we could all be here together and watch it at the same time and react to it at the same time. But obviously time zones just will not allow it and people's schedules and whatnot. So it is what it is. We do the best we can, right? It's almost 1 a.m. already. Ooh, that's, I was going to say early, but I'll just say late because you haven't gone to bed. All right. Let's get into this. Time of Our Lives, Star, Cole, Langston, and Marco.
This is where the chapter ends. A new one now begins. Time has come for letting
1 a.m. Wow. Well, I appreciate you being here.
All of these years when we were here are ending, but I'll always remember we have had the time of our lives, and now the pages turn, the stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best.
It's not just because of the standard definition quality of these, but just the age of like how people dress and stuff like that just ages this unbelievably.
Four of us.
Where the water meets the land, there is shifting in the sand.
Even though I didn't watch this, and these characters don't mean anything emotionally to me at this point, it does kind of put you back in that state of mind of 2010 was 15 years ago. 15. Oh my gosh. It seems like yesterday, and I certainly remember a bunch of shows around 2010 that I was watching. So it's just like, it makes me feel nostalgia for a show I didn't even watch. It's like, what? Come on, internet. Play nice.
Memories will come and go.
E. Come on now. Let's get that to 1080 at least.
Always remember we have had the time of our lives, and now the pages turn, the stories we will write. We have had the time of our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best of days, but if it has to end, I'm glad
It doesn't, does it? Oh my gosh.
in the time of our lives.
Crazy.
We say goodbye, we hold on tight.
15 years ago. That is. It just doesn't seem real. Wow. These couples have definitely gone through it.
Stories we will write. We have had
Seems like quite the arc.
our lives, and I will not forget the faces left behind. It's hard to walk away from the best of days, but if it has to end, I'm glad you have been my friend in the time of our lives.
It's a beautiful song. A very beautiful song. Shout out to Dan and Phil and Bound Prem and Smosh, of course. But yeah, that one thing I know about soap operas and soap dramas is that they do try to hook in that younger audience with having younger couples, younger children or teens or whatever. They try to hook you in that way. So that way they can keep another generation coming back. And I know typically from just people that I've known, it usually passes down through parents to kids or whatever. You know, if they watch it, or maybe a grandparent watches it, maybe it'll be interesting. Maybe the kids will check it out, grandkids will check it out, and that's how you get hooked. But it's a very interesting thing. Obviously, they definitely go pretty... what's a good way to say this? I almost said something not exactly appropriate. They definitely get creative with their storylines. They definitely get very creative. And how do you not enjoy those storylines? How do you not get into it? Like, I've read and, I've reacted to quite a few soap opera, soap drama videos at this point, and just reading the storyline aloud is stunning. The amount of crimes and all this stuff, like, it is inherently interesting, gripping, fascinating, wild indeed. That is a great word for it, wild. To the point where if you're just reading out the storylines without any of, like, having different storylines cross, and maybe you leave that couple for a while, you're watching somebody else, it's less kind of crazy. But if you're just reading one person's storyline, it is insane. It's like murder, kidnapping, just the most wild emotions and swings and all that stuff. But it is very entertaining. I understand why people enjoy it so much, and they get hooked on it. They watch it for decades. Totally get it. Completely get it. It's not something I've usually watched. Maybe I caught a couple minutes here and there, when I was a child and I was home from school being sick or something like that. I would just flip through the channels, and of course, all the daytime here in the U.S., all the daytime soap operas were on. And I'd catch a couple minutes here and there. And what I do remember intently was the close-ups of the face, the emotion, the raw emotion, just every emotion you could possibly think of, from blistering anger to just devastation. Devastation within like 2 seconds. It is very fast. Sometimes they can be very heated, and then another time they're just extremely sad and emotional and all that stuff. But I will say, I might not have gotten hooked on the soap operas, soap dramas, teen stories because I was a teen-ish around that time. I think I was leaving teens around, actually 2010, I was definitely leaving teens, but I could totally see how you get hooked on that just based off the drama. It's almost like the OC, but turned up to 11, like just constantly. I totally get it. Completely get it. Let's look up some information on One Life to Live and these characters specifically. Langston, Star, Cole, and Marco. The Fab Four, apparently. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Here we go. We'll start with Langston. Fictional character. Checks out, right? One Life to Live was played by Brittany Underwood from 2006 to 2011. Underwood would return for the finale in 2012. First seen while Star Manning is being bullied, again, starting off strong with bullying, by classmates from school. The two soon become best friends. Star jumps off a cliff at the stone quarry to take a dive into the water below. Before landing in the water, Star hits her head and is taken to the hospital where she fakes amnesia. I mean, we're already at 100 miles per hour here. We're already at, an insane amount of kilometers per hour. I don't know the conversion, but an insane amount of speed at this point. Langston learns of Star's ruse to try and reunite her parents. Star soon comes clean with her parents about faking amnesia. Langston and Star begin high school where the two gain an enemy in Brittany. Star soon meets a football player named Cole. There's Cole. And they begin dating. Brittany, who has a crush on Cole, desperately tries several times to break the two up. Star and Cole go into a bedroom, and refusing to get intimate. Star is frightened when an angry Cole tears the room apart and rips Star's shirt. Yikes. Brittany poses as Star as she calls the police on Cole, who later arrests him. We're already got the police involved. Oh my gosh. We're literally halfway through the first paragraph and cops have already been hailed. This is unbelievable. Star is horrified to learn that Cole's mother is Marty Saybrook, the woman that her father Todd had. Oh my gosh. We're starting very heavy. Had forced intimacy several years earlier. Star is able to forgive Cole, but her parents forbid the two from seeing one another. Langston soon forgives Cole for hurting her friend. Cole and Star, desperate to be together, decide to run away with the help of Langston. Todd, it's always weird to say my name out loud. I don't know why. Todd catches the two before they leave, nearly strangling Cole. For Cole's safety, Star breaks up with him. Boy, this is just... That was so brutal, so fast. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Star Manning. Originated on the former soap opera One Life to Live in 1996. Daughter of Todd and Blair. Although she was raised from the age of 11 to adulthood for her deeply hated uncle, Victor Lord Jr., whom everyone, including him, thought was Todd Manning at the time. In 2011, after his true identity was finally revealed, whatever love and connection she felt towards him turned to pity. Despite her false claims that she still loved him, even when she learned of his demise at the hands of her father, unlike her siblings, she hardly showed much sympathy for him because of the suffering he caused her during her teenage years. It was hinted many times that she's happy that he's dead, quote unquote. Nobody's truly dead, right? In a soap opera, soap drama. And that her beloved father got away with his apparent murder. Star is the oldest child of super couple Todd and Blair. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at, oh my gosh. Just the names of some of these storylines is crazy. Late in 94, convicted forced intimacy act, Todd Manning meets Blair, a socialite who has a history of being a gold digger. The two bond, I'm not surprised, and have a one-night stand around Christmas time. Blair finds out that Todd is a long-lost son of the presumed dead Victor Lord and is set to inherit $28 million US dollars, a fact that Todd himself doesn't know. Oh my gosh. Although the marriage started out as a sham, Todd and Blair fell in love and she quickly became pregnant for realsies, but then miscarries. Soon afterward, they decide to try for another baby. However, Todd finds out that Blair had initially lied to him and was not actually pregnant when they got married. Todd has their marriage annulled based on the fraud. But Blair finds out that she is pregnant again with Todd's child. The two remarry, but shortly thereafter, Todd is shot while in Ireland and presumed dead. Todd returns to town a few months later, and apparently still alive, and meets his daughter for the first time. Oh my gosh. Wow. And then it somehow goes from being married to Blair then falsely accuses Todd of forced intimacy, and he's sent to prison. Star decides to break him out of prison. She and her friend Matthew manage to find the prison van transporting Todd and flag it down. They get the door open, how? And try to get Todd to escape. He refuses. Wow. But another prisoner does escape and takes Matthew hostage. Boy, that backfired so bad. That backfired so badly. Star is sentenced to probation and community service at the hospital for her crime. While working at the hospital, Star vandalizes hospital property. That's not great. Blair later exonerates Todd, saying he did not force intimacy after all, and he's released. Wow. Oh my gosh. Cole. One Life to Live, fictional character, of course. Crossed over to ABC, remaining network soap opera General Hospital, apparently. He was portrayed by actor Brandon Buddy. 2006, Van Hughes began temporarily playing the role in 2012. Appeared in General Hospital to introduce his fiancée Star Manning into the show. It's kind of weird how they do those crossovers. I guess it makes sense, right? It gets wilder? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. I'm only reading just a little bit. Just a little taste. Let's see here. Oh, my gosh. Where to even start here? Where to start? Blair found out that Star was pregnant. Boy, this is, I guess, yeah, this is a little bit later on. Todd attacked Cole, and in the struggle, Star went tumbling down a flight of stairs. At the hospital, Blair found out that Star was pregnant, and Star and Cole saw the first sonogram of their baby. Star decided to give up the baby for adoption, but Cole was against it. He talked to Nora, who's an attorney, about his rights and thought about suing Star for custody and raising the baby on his own. Star wanted to give the baby to Michael and Marcy McBain, John's brother and sister-in-law, to adopt. Cole decided to tell Todd about Star being pregnant and about her plan to give the baby to the McBains, knowing Todd hated the McBains and wouldn't allow them to adopt his grandchild. On November 6, 2008, healthy baby girl, whom Marcy named Hope McBain, was born. Todd, however, had planned to kidnap the baby at birth, run away, and raise her with Marty, who was actually alive, had amnesia, and was being held captive by Todd. So that is a double kidnapping, is what that is. Todd instructed the doctor to take the baby to her office, which she did, but then Todd changed his mind and decided not to kidnap his granddaughter, but the baby was found dead in the doctor's office. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoa. I did not see that coming. The dead baby, however, was actually not Hope, but Chloe Brennan, the stillborn daughter of Starr's cousin, Jessica, who had been born at the same time. Jessica's alternate personality, Bess, Jess and Bess, had switched the two babies. Oh my gosh. Starr and Cole were devastated hearing their baby was dead. Cole felt the baby was his only link to his presumed dead parents. But then again, he saw his mother, Marty, in the hospital, who had just been rescued from Todd's house. Cole, however, still felt his mother was dead because of her amnesia and the fact she wasn't the same woman he had known. He began taking illegal drugs and flunking out of school. On one occasion, Cole was on drugs and drove. I'm trying to think of what I can and can't say. On drugs and drove with Nora's son Matthew in the car. He crashed into oncoming traffic and was uninjured, but Matthew was paralyzed from the waist down. Nora eventually agreed to press charges if Cole went to not press charges, if Cole went into drug rehab. Cole continued to pop pills, however, fake drug tests. He eventually gravitated back to Starr, though, and with her help, got clean. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ooh. That's just a little taste of some of these characters' stories. We got Marco here. Oh my gosh. Do I start anywhere? This is definitely a smaller article, which is good. Okay. Some of this I probably should not mention. Oh gosh. Marco appears in the gym of the high school during tryouts for the school musical. Immediately annoyed by Marco, Langston challenges him to try out, to which he does and gets a part. During the prom, English teacher Marcy gets ahead of herself and announces Marco and Langston as king and queen of the dance. After prom night, Marco and Langston begin dating one another. A few months into a relationship, Marco becomes concerned about the constant absence of Langston's parents, sensing that something isn't right. Dorian Lord hires private investigator Rex to dig up information on Langston. Dorian learns that Langston has been orphaned and living on her own for over a year. Langston can't believe that Dorian, great aunt of Langston's best friend Starr Manning, would pry into private information regarding her life. During a conversation at school, Langston talks with Starr about her parents' death. They are overheard by fellow student Brittany, who contacts social services, and Langston is horrified whenever she is placed in foster care. Starr's mother, Blair, is all set to become Langston's foster mother whenever she is called out of town. In turn, Dorian chooses to become Langston's guardian. All things are... Boy, that is just a web of guardianship. After Starr becomes pregnant with Cole's baby, she decides to have an abortion before Cole and her family learns about pregnancy. Wait, what? I thought it was adoption. I don't know what's going on at this point. At the last moment, Langston gives Cole the address to where Starr is. After convincing her to take the time to make the right decision, Cole and Starr return to Landview. Cole soon makes plans to run away with Starr, and with Marco's help, they run off to Virginia Beach. Dorian finds Langston hiding a pregnancy book and suspects that she is pregnant. Marco confirms Dorian's claims, but the truth about Starr soon comes out, leaving Marco off the hook. Wow, that is... Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of wildness. Like I said, it is very obvious to me why soap operas, soap dramas are so addicting and so eye-catching and, tension grabbing. It's just one of those things where you literally tune in and you have no idea what's coming up. Like, they could take that story anywhere. Your favorite character could be gone. They could be quote unquote dead, but not really. And then they come back after they do something else. It is very, very entertaining from what I can tell. So I'm not surprised at all. Soap operas, soap dramas are some of the longest running television for sure. Like, I think General Hospital's been around since the 60s, 1960 something. They can absolutely have some longevity. And there's a lot of actors who go their entire career on soap operas, which is pretty impressive. You know, maybe they might dip a toe into theater or something like that, or off Broadway or something. But there's a lot of them that kind of stick into it, and they're just really good at playing emotions. That is difficult. I don't know if you've ever tried that before, or tried your hand at acting or anything like that. It is kind of difficult to get in your emotions and make it believable when it's not your real life. You know, it's one of those things, like, if you haven't done it before, it's very difficult to kind of place yourself in the situation where you're reading lines or memorizing lines, putting yourself in the scene, a character, and you have to make it as believable as humanly possible. You have to be that character for people to believe you're that character, and also have a full range of emotions. Crying on cue is probably one of the hardest emotions, I suppose, that a lot of people struggle with. And even I've heard some actors in interviews say that they struggle with it and they've never been good at it. They either think of some sort of traumatic event that's happened to them, or they fake it with like some fake tears even. Like, there's a lot of ways to kind of get around that ability. But yeah, it seems like everybody on soap operas are just really in touch with their emotions. All right, let's move on to, frankly, another soap opera or soap drama, whatever you want to call it. This is Emmerdale. Aaron and Robert, The Vow. And the editor said, I only care about these 2 weddings, so just get on with yours, Gabby and Vinny, so the rest of us can move on. Anyway, here's another Rob Ron wedding edit. They better give us a third one because I'm running out of unused scenes to use. That's funny. This was posted 2 months ago. Been watching since 2011, just can't stop. That's awesome. That is so cool. That is very neat. I love that. And the fact that it just keeps going and going and going. And it seems like the writers just never run out of scripts, like storylines, whatever. Like, that is just incredible to me, which is shocking because how many TV shows have we seen recently where maybe you get a couple good seasons and then afterwards it just kind of like takes a nosedive. Maybe the story gets a little hard to understand, or maybe it just, it's not as good as the first couple seasons. That happens so frequently. But for some reason, nobody's tapped into the soap opera, soap drama writers' rooms and gone like, hey, you've been able to keep this show afloat for 60 years. How do you do it? Oh my gosh. All right, let's move on to Aaron and Robert. Let's bring that up. The Wedding. Here we go.
When we met, we were
I don't negotiate with idiots.
That's all right, then negotiate with me.
Obviously, I'll also enjoy smacking you in the face.
I'll enjoy it. You won't get another free one.
But the moment my eyes met your gaze, it's like a door opened up on
So it looks like you've really earned your Scooby snacks.
Then we
Fine on me.
then we danced,
Stick him. Who do you think you are?
Can we start over?
we laughed, then we kissed, then we started.
Robert, wait.
'Cause I knew if I kissed you again, we would start something that never ends.
Where else to hide, innit?
Well, look who's getting sentimental about our first time.
I couldn't get rid of you, could I?
What was this one more like?
I can't really think of anything else to say. I'm sorry, I'm rubbish at this. But you know. I know. No, it does matter. I've never had this with anyone before. I never thought I'd have this with anyone. I never thought I'd have it with you. No, I could have messed it all up.
What did I say? Tight facial
I
shots.
promise I'm going to be the best husband that I can be.
You're already the best husband that I've had.
Now we're here,
Here.
now we've lived, now we've cried, now we've seen All the lows, all the highs in between.
I love you.
On your darkest of nights.
Yeah, but I promise you're not on your own. Not anymore.
We made friends.
I know you're a part of our weird dysfunctional family, aren't you?
We lost friends and faith. We lost sight.
I love you so much.
And when all of these moments have come,
It's going to be amazing.
I suppose there's no going back now.
we're stronger from joy and from pain.
No going back.
Love is the thing that remains.
I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Dingle.
I promise
Mr.
to be
Dingle.
faithful and to be loyal. And to respect and cherish you.
Throughout our lives together.
Robert and Aaron, I'm delighted to pronounce you husband and husband.
When did you decide to change your plate?
Time. About 10 seconds before I open my mouth.
See you around. Impulsive.
The first time I kissed you. Sometimes I get it right.
Smooth.
If I don't have a chance with you, then I might as well be back there.
It's just words.
Because right now, that's all I've got. And hope. Hope that you'll remember what we were, because we can be that again, Aaron.
Definitely some ups and downs.
Us.
Wish things weren't so complicated.
Came back there for 6 years. Wow.
I'll see you later. Mr. Sugden.
Whoa. Whoa. What a storyline. Dang. Link down below in the YouTube video description for the original video. Go throw it some much-deserved love, and also check out their channel. They might have other edits of Emmerdale, Aaron and Robert specifically, that you might find interesting and maybe you want to request. Certainly do so. I will go ahead and grab that link and throw it in the chat for those of you watching live. There it is. Wow. All right, let's pull up some information on them, Robert and Aaron. This is Robert Sugden, fictional character. Character originally appeared on the show between 1986, wow, and 2005. That is staying power right there. During that time, he was first played as a baby. Okay, that makes sense. Before the role was taken over by Christopher Smith from 1989 until 2001. That is steady paycheck is what that is. That is a steady paycheck and a lot of fun. I'm assuming you get very close to your castmates, spending that much time with them. During that time, let's see, Carl Davies took over the role in order for the character to become involved in more adult storylines as he grew older. Briefly reprised his role as Robert for one episode in 2009, where he returned for the funeral of his father in Emmerdale's longest-running character, Jack. Character returned in 2014 with actor Ryan Howley to take over the role. Robert made his return to the show in 2025. Wow. Unbelievable. Pretty amazing, huh? That is so interesting. Dang. Aaron, fictional character, of course, played by Danny Miller. Character was originally played by Danny Webb, appeared in a recurring capacity. Aaron made his first appearance 2003. When Aaron was reintroduced in 2008, he was promoted to the full-time cast, and the decision was made to recast the role. Miller successfully auditioned for the part and later admitted that he would have quit acting if he had not been cast. Wow. That is a bold move. Aaron's the son of Chas and Gordon. His storylines have included being involved with the criminal McFarland family, making a romantic advance towards his best friend Adam, which resulted in a attempted ending of oneself, coming to terms with his homosexuality, his relationship with Jackson, and dealing with Jackson's ending himself. Miller chose to leave the show in November 2011, and he made his final appearance in 2012. Aaron's exit storyline saw him accused of arson, and so he left the village with his new partner, Ed. Miller made an unannounced return October 2023. Wow. Revealed to be his uncles Kane and Caleb hostage. So it looks like everybody's back. Aaron's been through it. I don't know how he's still standing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Just reading that was brutal. I think I remember actually going through this quite a while ago and just being really blown away by how rough his existence on Emmerdale's been. Robert and Aaron's history explained. Well, this will go through it as beloved couple rekindle their romance. Have a complicated relationship history. That sounds about right. This was published June of this year. It's been a hectic couple of weeks for Aaron after his ex-husband Robert returned to the village. Ryan appeared on the ITV soap as Robert last month after 6 years away, as you've stated. Robert unexpectedly stormed into his ex-husband Aaron's wedding ceremony to his half-brother John, who has recently been hiding his killer tendencies from the village. Oh boy. Soap viewers will know that John was responsible for Nate's death last year, as well as spiking Joss and framing Ella. Good grief. Following his return, Robert tried to get back with Aaron, with the pair sharing a kiss. However, Aaron ended up marrying John, determined to move on with his life. Shortly after the ceremony, Robert was sent back to prison for breaching his bail conditions. During Tuesday night, June 17th episode, Robert received a visit from Aaron, who revealed that he had been the person to call the police on him weeks before. John then arrived at the prison and threatened his brother, ominously telling Robert that he has no idea what he's capable of. What's your big secret, Johnny boy? Let me guess. You weasel around stealing other people's lives, Robert said. Before this chat, I was willing to let Aaron go and move on, but the but the more I know you, the more I don't want you anywhere near him. I'm coming back, and I'm going to make sure Aaron sees what a messed up freak you really are. Newly released Robert then turned up at John and Aaron's flat on June 19th, where he revealed his intentions to stay with his family in the village. As Robert returns to the Dales to try to bring John down, let's examine Robert and Aaron's relationship. First crossed paths in 2014, sharing a passionate kiss while Robert was engaged to Chrissy. Robert refused to leave Chrissy, but soon began an affair with Aaron, which continued even after Robert and Chrissy were married. Once Chrissy learnt of the affair, she tried to force Robert to sign divorce papers and offered to pay him if he did. Aaron couldn't trust himself being so close to Robert. He knew they would get involved again. I understand that. I'm sure we all, whether it was ourselves or somebody else, we all known somebody that did that. Robert eventually moved in with Aaron, and the pair got hitched in an unofficial ceremony at the garage in 2017. A year later, they had a legal wedding in front of their family and friends, which I'm pretty sure we just saw. The couple went through several ups and downs throughout the relationship, including Aaron going to prison for his brutal attack on Kasim, and Robert having a one-night stand with Rebecca, which resulted in the birth of his son, Seb. Oh my gosh. In 2019, Robert supported his sister, Victoria, after learning that she had been SA'd by car salesman Lee. He then ended up attacking Lee when the villain denied perpetrating the forced intimacy ordeal. After being detained and later pleading guilty to Lee's attack prior to his death, Robert was sentenced to 14 years in prison, with his relationship with Aaron ending shortly after, of course. 6 years later, Emmerdale fans are convinced that Robert and Aaron could reunite once John's crimes are exposed. Will Robert be able to take his brother down and for all? Wow. Wow. All right. Robert, Aaron, and Kev's Emmerdale love triangle explodes in hilarious early episode. Oh boy. When was this posted? November 18th. Oh wow. This was a couple days ago. Oh, no. Emmerdale viewers who have already streamed Tuesday's episodes early on ITVX are calling it the best laugh they've had in ages. It's all down to a gloriously messy saga between Robert, Kev, and Aaron. Warning, the article does contain spoilers for November 18th, which was a couple days ago. From one love triangle to another. Oh, no. It's been one emotional car crash after another for the trio in recent weeks. Robert has been secretly back with Aaron, while also honoring the vow renewal he rushed into with Kev, under the belief Kev only has months to live. Oh my gosh. No. No. Oh, that's brutal. Oh, that's bad. That's so bad. But following his big standalone episode last week, Robert has finally decided he couldn't keep stringing Kev along. It's so crazy right now. Yeah, I bet it is. He ended their marriage. Okay. Telling him he simply didn't feel the same anymore. What he didn't confess, that Aaron is the real reason. Okay, well, at least he ended it, I suppose. Instead of that weird, you only have months to live, so I guess I'll just keep up the charade. Kev, meanwhile, is still clinging to the idea that his supposed terminal illness will eventually pull Robert back to him. Oh, that's weird. The problem, of course, is that Kev isn't actually dying. Oh my gosh, what? Oh no. Oh no. Something Liam also knows, though he's been forced into silence through Kev's threats. Oh my gosh. So he's looking to guilt Robert back with a terminal diagnosis when he's not actually terminal. Oh boy. Kev's karaoke plea leaves Emmerdale viewers cringing and howling. In the episode released early today, Kev shows up at Vinny's housewarming purely because Robert will be there. Hoping to win him back, Kev grabs the mic and performs a karaoke rendition of If You're Not the One by Daniel Bedingfield. The reaction? A room full of stunned, awkward villagers, and a whole lot of secondhand embarrassment for fans watching at home. Kev dedicates the song to Robert. I was shouting at the TV for real. Oh, gosh. Dedicates the song to Robert. Immediately, that's cringe. Oh, no. Who looks absolutely mortified. I'm sure he did. Before begging him to give the relationship another oh, gosh. Oh, he begged and then sang the song? Oh, Robert gently rejects him again, leaving Kev heartbroken. Oh, that's brutal. That's so brutal. Hopefully that was not with the microphone on stage. I'm hoping begging him to give the relationship another chance was backstage or something else, or off the stage, because that would just be really bad. That's like a public proposal, and then the person says no. They were all there in one room. Oh, gross. Oh, no. Oh. I would feel for Kev, but using a fake terminal illness, or like not being upfront that it's no longer terminal or it wasn't terminal, is gross. So that kind of overrides feeling bad for Kev, but it's still cringy. Back at home, Robert follows to check on him, and once more promises he'll support Kev when the end comes. Oh boy. I felt for him at first, but then all this, yeah. But with both men drowning in lies, fans are wondering how long this can realistically continue. Aaron watches Robert and Kev in Emmerdale. Just watching from the side. Fans react. Why are they so bad at hiding their secret relationship? Social media lived today. with fans howling over how blatantly Robert and Aaron are acting around each other despite supposedly keeping things under wraps. One viewer joked, obsessed with how bad they are at hiding their secret relationship. Another added, oh, Kev knows. Boys, if you wanted it hidden, why are you glued to each other? A third fan wrote, Kev absolutely knows something is going on. They're acting normal while literally glued to each other. But while the drama is escalating, viewers adored the comic relief in today's episode. Robert's face kills me. When he realizes what song Kev is about to sing, today's episode was the best laugh I've had in ages. Another posted, holy funk, karaoke in Emmerdale? LOL, oh Kevin. And many simply want the behind-the-scenes footage. No way they filmed that in one take. Someone definitely cracked up. They can't keep their hands to each other? Oh my gosh. So they're doing a terrible job. A terrible job of keeping it secret. Oh, man. If anything, I want to see that karaoke scene because that would be just brutally awkward. Brutally awkward. In all the best ways. Sometimes, a little cringe is quite a funny thing to watch. As awkward as it is, it's enjoyable. Being in the cringe, not great. Not fun. But seeing the cringe and somebody else being in that cringe, phenomenal. It's great. It's, you get that kind of feeling of like secondhand embarrassment, but it's so much better to see somebody else in an awkward situation than for you to be in the awkward situation. 100%. I've definitely enjoyed that over the years. Very awkward and mortifying. Perfect. Perfect is what I say to that. I love that the audience was also feeling awkward. That's perfect. They did that beautifully. That's kind of how I felt with the movie Superbad, is whenever I watched that movie and it was like McLovin or whatever, and just their interactions with other people just made me cringe so hard. Oh, it was so awkward to watch, but it was beautiful in that way. It was awkward, but it was so awkward it made it funny and interesting, and just you couldn't look away. You couldn't look away. It's kind of, I'm assuming that singing performance was pretty much the same. Couldn't look away. You were probably watching it like this, You're just like, oh man, what is he doing? Questioning him. Like, what? Why would you do that? Who told you this was a good idea? Who told you this was a good idea? Who gave you the go-ahead? Who did you ask? Did you just do it and not ask anybody? Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that's funny. That's very funny. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daisy and Daniel, All You Need to Know. What song is this? Do we know? Griffin. Slander Griffin? Is that the name? It's an acoustic performance, so it should be nice. I do like the acoustic versions of songs more often than not. I don't know if you've listened to acoustic versions of some of your favorite songs, or maybe just top 40 like pop songs. I almost always like the acoustic better. It's just more relaxing. It's not as crazy. It can have a very different emotional appeal to it. Listening to, like, say, Paramore, right? Their songs are very upbeat. It's very, I don't know what you would call their genre. Punk rock, maybe? I don't know. But, and then listening to the acoustic version and Hayley Williams just kind of going off vocally, like, it is just a totally different vibe. And it's easy to listen to, much easier to listen to. Of course, I like the other version as well, but it's a different vibe. Very different vibe. Her vocals are amazing. Absolutely agree. She's going on tour right now, I think. Or maybe the tickets just went on sale. Boy, those things went fast. Very fast. Very expensive at this point, but they went very fast. I would not be opposed to seeing her in concert. One of the great vocalists of our time, certainly. All right, let's pull up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Get to enjoy this acoustic version of a song I haven't heard of, but we'll see how it is. Here we go.
I know people like you. Some of my favorite people are people like you.
Simple as can be. I got your hands
Focused on the
in
greater
mine,
good, even at your own expense.
and you don't have to listen carefully. I'll tell you
Why do you
1,000
care?
times. Anything you feel,
Daisy.
put it all on me.
Yeah.
All of your thoughts, I want
Hey, stay with
everything. And when you get sad, like you do sometimes, put it all
Because you
on
know.
me. Put it all on me.
Yeah, I was like, Susan pulled me out of the wreckage.
I'll hold
Got us
you
home.
when the night gets cold.
You want people to think you like being alone, even though you always end up back with friends.
And that's all you need to know. No love lost, we've got
Do your thing. I got your back.
No clouds
You hate losing.
shooting out the sky. You'll never have to be alone. And that's
Hey.
all you need.
What are you doing up?
How long have you been here?
Well, I guess. When did you go to sleep? Since then.
That's jealous of you.
I'm gonna be
I'm where I
around.
need to be.
You know we got
That's
everything we
that is
need.
awful
Get this
specific.
thing we found. Anything you feel,
Hydra took a lot of good people from me.
your fears and your thoughts give me
This is a vital wage and loan plan.
and when you get sad, like you do sometimes, put it all on me. Put it
I'm sorry.
on me.
Hey, Susan!
I'll hold you when the night gets cold. You'll never have to be alone. And that's all you need to know. No love lost, we've got you.
May I cut in? Told you we're the good guys. Every time I ask you for help, you say yes. And if I don't ask, you're waiting here to make sure I rest or whatever. Why? Be honest.
Honest? Daisy, you should be resting.
I'm okay.
I've been looking for you. You should be resting. What are you doing out of that bed?
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
I need you to do something for me.
Of course. Well, what do you need?
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah, I would say they had pretty good chemistry.
When people like you run into those walls, you should have someone there to pick you back up.
And you'd like to be that someone?
Not for everyone.
Susan.
Good to see you move.
I'm glad he's here.
That makes me happy too.
Right in the feels. Right in the feels. That was a beautiful edit. Great song. Phenomenal. Well done. Wow. Excellent chemistry. Absolutely. Link down below in the YouTube video description when this gets posted to YouTube. For the original video, go throw it some much-deserved love. And also check out their channel. They might have other videos that might interest you. Maybe you want to request it for a stream. For those of you watching live, there is the link to that video. All right, let's pull up some information on Quake, a.k.a. Daisy, and Daniel. Here we go. Start with Quake first. Agent Daisy is an inhuman genius-level hacker, S.H.I.E.L.D. operative, born to Calvin and Jia Ying. She was taken away when her mother was murdered by Hydra and raised at St. Agnes Orphanage under identity of Mary Sue Poots. Disliking her legal name, I can't blame her, she adopted the alias Sky after she left the orphanage and worked for Rising Tide, putting her on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar. Phil Coulson recruited her into his team and contracted her as a consultant before she became an official agent during the hunt for the Clairvoyant. There you go. Daisy to Phil, it's funny what can happen when someone believes in you. Then we got Daniel, of course. Daniel to Daisy, because when people like you run into those walls, you should have someone there to pick you back up. U.S. Army veteran, became a strategic scientific reserve agent after losing a leg during World War II. Eventually, Sousa became a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent and served as the agent's West Coast security chief while his relationship with Peggy Carter ended. While Sousa began to suspect the S.H.I.E.L.D. had been infiltrated by Hydra, he had visited Area 51 where he encountered a team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents from the future who were trying to prevent the Chronicoms from completely wiping S.H.I.E.L.D. from history so they could take Earth for themselves. Very selfish. Very selfish. The team faked his demise to save him from Hydra, and he joined them in their time-traveling mission to stop the Chronicoms, where he developed a relationship with Daisy. He eventually traveled to the original timeline where he managed to finally defeat the Chromicons and set off to explore the universe with Daisy as they traveled through space on Zephyr 3. Hello there, Kermit. I am reading bios for Marvel. That is true. We just reacted to a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daniel and Daisy edit. Now we are looking into their relationship. Doozy, I guess it was called. Quote, this is Daniel to Daisy. Some of my favorite people are people like you, focused on the greater good, even at your own expense. You want people to think you like being on your own, even though you always end up back with friends. Interesting. Het relationship, certainly. Also known as Daisy Sues. That's good. It's a good one. Well, in the year 1955, Daisy was sent to rescue Phil and Gemma, who had been arrested after infiltrating the S.H.I.E.L.D. base in Area 51 in order to stop Helios. There, she sneaks into Daniel's office and upon meeting him, pretends to be a CIA agent and confirms his suspicion that there were sleepers posted within S.H.I.E.L.D. post-World War II, referring to Hydra, of course. Daisy convinces Sousa that Coulson and Simmons are the key to proving this, causing him to trust her and lead her to them. Once they reach the cells, Sousa warns Daisy to stand back as the prisoners make it jumpy. Seemingly concerned for her safety, Coulson and Simmons are let out, and Daisy requests alone time with them, but Sousa refuses to leave them alone. At that moment, an alarm goes off, and Coulson throws Sousa into the cell, locks him in. Coulson, Simmons, and Daisy run off to investigate the source of the alarm as Daisy swears to him that they are the good guys. Oh my gosh. Very interesting. All right. Daisy and Sousa remain one of the most rewarding parts of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Meeting the love of your life at Area 51 seems doubtful. It does. It does indeed. Meeting the love of your life at Area 51 while time traveling, from the 21st century to 1955 seems even more unlikely. And yet that's exactly what happened to Daisy when she met Daniel during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7. She just wouldn't realize it till later on. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended in 2020 with its 7th season. It marked the end of an era. The ABC show ran for 136 episodes, proving the way for the short-lived Agent Carter, Daredevil, other Defenders-verse shows, and ultimately the live-action shows developed for Disney+. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. conclusion was bittersweet for various reasons, but it still featured engaging storylines and compelling endings for its characters. One of the best aspects of the final mission was arguably the most surprising. The man out of time and Quake, Daisy and Sousa, affectionately known as Doozy, a ship name coined by Chloe Bennett and Enver, met, fell for each other, and became an endgame ship in 10 episodes. That is fast. That is absolutely fast. Even 5 years after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 aired, Daisy and Sousa continue to be one of the most rewarding parts of the show's final season. Wow. In the comic book-inspired universe where superpowered humans, aliens, and magic are normal, there isn't much that would seem absurd. Then again, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Fitzsimmons meet their grown adult grandson who's the same age as them. That's terrifying. That changed the parameters for outrageous happenings in Marvel, and yet the mere idea of Daisy and Daniel becoming a couple seemed ridiculous. Sousa is a character created for Agent Carter, a show set after World War II. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. references certain events from Agent Carter, but those are logical callbacks like Howard Stark's Nitramine. Peggy Carter only appeared on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in flashbacks. It was before Agent Carter was a show, and her cameos weren't active parts of the story. So even with time travel being an established concept by the time Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7 happened, thinking Daisy and Sousa would ever interact seemed outlandish. But they did, and it marked the beginning of an unpredictable, exhilarating love story. It had amazing storylines, indeed. Indeed, it seems like it, frankly. For Daisy, Sousa realistically never should have been anything more than a historical figure from her workplace, the first fallen agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. The unexpected nature of Daisy and Sousa is part of what makes them so intriguing, though. Seeing obvious ships become canon can be great, but being surprised by ships can make the narrative more fun. With Doozy, watching their story was exciting and nerve-wracking because of all the possibilities, both good and bad. The nonsensical, sensical compatibility of Daisy and Sousa on the surface seems like a pairing that wouldn't work. Daisy's an inhuman superhero with Quake powers, whose specialty as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent is computer hacking. Sousa is a man from 1955 who served in World War II, worked alongside Peggy, and is fascinated by 21st century phone's camera feature. But Daisy and Sousa work so well as a couple because they complement each other despite their vast differences. Daisy's strong-willed, determined, caring, superpowered woman who can be relentless and stubborn. In Sousa's words, she's, quote, focused on the greater good, even at her own expense. He brings calm to the chaos and commotion that life often brings Daisy. His solid presence balances out her nonstop nature and relentlessness. Daisy appreciates and accepts Sousa's supportive, caring nature. She can rely on him and never questions his capabilities despite his disability and outdated knowledge. She also thinks he's a dorky square and finds that endearing. Hey, if you're a dorky square, all you gotta do is find the other person that appreciates it. It's all about, what the other person's into, and hopefully you're that, right? He brings calm to the chaos and commotion that life often brings Daisy. His solid presence balances out her nonstop nature. And even though Sousa is generally viewed as this soft, kind-hearted character, their flirting scene at the end of episode 11 from season 7, Brand New Day, is a reminder that he can absolutely dish out banter to keep up with Daisy's teasing. From the fake fiance bit to Sousa's "I'm where I need to be" declaration, previous episodes hint at Daisy and Sousa's potential romance. The chemistry between the two have innately elevates that potential. Interesting. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 9, season 7, solidifies Doozy as a canon ship and also a worthwhile pairing to root for. Time Loop episode highlights how Sousa can and wants to be a caring, supportive partner for Daisy, both in the field and in life. Interesting. It's beautiful, heartfelt, and unreal in the best way. Major kudos to Drew Z. Greenberg for writing a stellar proclamation for Sousa. He essentially tells her, quote, "I see and understand you, but you deserve to have the care and support that you make sure others have, and I'd like to be someone who provides that for you." Sousa's implicit confession brings about a mix of emotions for Daisy. She goes from confused to surprised to intrigued as he opens up to her. Aligning with her sometimes impulsive demeanor, that intrigue transforms into legitimate interest when she kisses him in the next loop. After all the stress and frustration of the time storm, Daisy's undeniable smile and unexpected happiness she feels after kissing Sousa are bright spots. The love we never expected, is the love Daisy and Sousa deserve. Very interesting. Meeting each other was improbable, falling for each other was unexpected, but finding love with each other was gratifying. After everything both characters have been through, Daisy and Sousa deserve a happy ending. They just happen to find it with each other. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Wow. Found love in a hopeless place. That's pretty crazy. It's the last season. And somehow they were able to get that relationship just wrapped up beautifully and people were wanting it. That is impressive. That is impressive. Wow. I'm wondering if this was writer-led. Was this something they saw and they went for? Was this viewer-led, where the viewers were very vocal about it? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not exactly sure which direction, you know, it was going originally, if it was definitely going that way. Or did they see, you know, the online chatter about, oh my gosh, they're perfect together. They have a lot of chemistry together. And then they made it so. You know, it's very interesting to find out. I'd be interested to find that out. You know, what made the writers write in a love story at the last minute? That is very bold. That's a bold choice to do that. But apparently they nailed it. Amazing. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next one. This is Carl and Fiona. I'm always here if you need me. This is from Shameless, the US version. Let's go ahead and pull this up. What's interesting is there's an AI-generated video summary. Do we trust it? Comments are turned off. Wow. 8 years ago, this was posted. 1.3 million views. No comments, because the comments were turned off. I wonder why. Why would they turn off the comments? Weird. Shameless was so good. Honestly, from everything that I've seen, it seems like it was a heck of a show. Like, brilliantly written, very relatable in a lot of ways for a lot of folks. You're not going to relate to everything, but maybe certain aspects of it. I think it's one of those broad appeal shows where it just kind of shows a family that's getting through it and going through it. And it's very relatable. And I just saw William H. Macy, who plays Frank, in a Mythical Kitchen video here on YouTube. And what a great actor. What a truly good actor. And it's just so fitting that he's now pushing rye whiskey, knowing about Frank's character and how he absolutely struggled with addiction and drinking. It's so on the nose. It's so Frank. It's hilarious. I come from a different culture, but I found it very relatable. That's nice. That's awesome. That's actually the most impressive thing. Relatable even from a different culture. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, everything I've seen from the Gallaghers and Malkoviches, I mean, very funny. Very funny. Well written. All that good stuff. All right, let's pull this up. Carl and Fiona, I'm always here if you need me. Let's let the video do the talking. Let's see it. 1.3 million views. Wow.
I've done what I could to help raise my siblings.
F.
I wish I could have done more. As in failed?
As in fucked.
That's one way to put it.
What Carl needs is medication, a near-death experience, or a lobotomy.
Fiona takes care of everyone, but no one takes care of Fiona.
It shows in your reflection.
I wasn't listening to that.
It's too loud. What is your problem?
He's going to slip down through the cracks.
Offing people is not cool. Can we get on the same page with that?
Yeah.
Carl, you're sorry. I'm not. Lie.
Ew, don't learn from him, Liam.
I'm gonna take you out. Who in the hell?
He's given up on it.
is raising this degenerate.
I'm raising a sociopath.
Everybody's family is fucked up.
No. Why not?
Is he okay?
Oh, Fiona. Get the fucking keys! I want a parent, a real parent. What was Shell like?
Carl got clocked in the head by gangbangers.
I'm getting tired of this little menstrual.
Free fuck!
Not to let her ruin Debbie and Carl's lives, too. Doing okay? Fuck out of here!
You know you can always talk to me if you need to.
I don't want to talk about it.
I couldn't be more disappointed in you, son.
What kind of a Gallagher are you?
He doesn't even know who you are. I'm his mother. You are my mother, too.
My mother's bipolar. My father's an alcoholic and an addict.
He's dying. No, he's killing himself. There's a difference.
I can take care of
I don't want you to die. No. Yes. No. Yes.
Heroin now?
Is he dead?
And Carl did all no thanks to you because you weren't here. What am I supposed to do? Pat him down?
Yeah, you're fucked up criminal brother, yeah!
The kids have been making paper mache sculptures about what they love about themselves. Carl is like turning into a fucking criminal.
Won't listen to you?
Whatever it is you won't talk about does not mean you can act like an asshole.
A child comes along and makes me believe in the existence of Satan.
You want to talk? I don't need to talk. Just stop stressing me.
A dark future.
A dark soul.
Okay, you need anything?
Where's Fiona?
Can't stop seeing that. Is Fiona here? That body in my head. Figure I'll start seeing more people get dropped. I stay in the
It
game.
hurts a lot.
I'm kind of a badass.
I'll see about it.
Fiona.
Can I stay here tonight?
It's all right. Why is the world so fucked up?
Fiona was more of a mother to him than his actual mother was. Yeah, that's really the crux of this. Is that Fiona was taking on a tremendous amount of responsibility that she didn't have to take on, or she shouldn't have had to take on. It is just unfortunate. And the problem with an older sibling raising a younger sibling is that you don't have as much. How am I trying to say this? You don't have as much authority as, say, a mother would, right? The kid, if they're acting up or acting out, would look at the older sibling who's trying to be a parent to them and go, "Who are you? You're my peer. You're not a mother. You're not a parent of mine." You know, you lack that kind of adult, non-peer authority. And it's just very difficult. It is a difficult situation, and Fiona is doing the best she can, I suppose. And Carl is just seemingly not wanting any of it. But as we saw a little bit there, that right before I paused it, looks like he kind of has those times where he leans on her, and kind of accepts the fact that she's looking out for him. It's a lot for anyone, but to a teenager who still has growing up to do, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Fiona's got her own issues and things she has to do, and at the same time trying to be an authoritative figure in her siblings' lives, which is just a nightmare situation. Not easily dealt with. It's a thankless job, is what it is.
Am I going to die?
Get out of that shit you're involved in, you hear me? You okay?
Fiona! My Fiona, I love you.
Don't end up there. Is it okay if I say I'm proud of you?
I got it handled.
I washed Carl's shitty diapers.
She tried. She
He wasn't here. He was never fucking here.
Liam almost died. And that was you.
Where the hell is our brother?
Your fucked up life. Hey.
It starts shooting. It's great to have you home.
I just want to say thanks for being a great sister.
Carl!
It's good to meet you.
I've never said that, but now I did.
So it looks like there's a little bit of moments where Carl kind of comes around and, appreciates what Fiona was trying to do. A lot can be said in a hug, You don't have to say a lot of words. A lot can be, said in a hug. Sometimes words just don't need to be said. But yeah, what a situation there. It's not enviable at all. At least for the most part. Yeah, brutal. Whenever I watch the funny Shameless US clips, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. This is great. And then I watch some of these and I'm like, boy, this show hits. It hits hard when it wants to. There's a lot of drama, a lot of issues, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of tough emotions. Obviously, Frank going through his things, basically killing himself. There's a lot of deep, dark emotions in there. You would expect, right? People suffering with these issues and, trying to figure it out. Everybody's kind of a mess. That would bring on a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak. Sometimes is unhinged, but it also knows how to pull at your heartstrings. That is a beautiful balance. That is an absolutely beautiful balance that they're able to do that. Truly. It's good writing. And that's why it probably lasted so many seasons and people really have a soft spot for this show. It's one of the few shows that I think I've heard positive comments about just throughout the years. It's one of those that there might be some issues with it, or maybe not all the seasons were the best, but I feel like I've heard more positive than any sort of negative towards that show over the years from people I've met, whatever. So, obviously, those of you in the comments watching specifically for Shameless, you love it. Oh my gosh. Let me throw a like on that. 1.3 million views, I would say well-deserved. Quote, I just want to say thank you for being a great sister. Explores the complex bond between Carl and Fiona. It showcases poignant moments from the series highlighting their sibling relationship. Expect emotional scenes and powerful family dynamics. Yeah, that's a good AI description right there. Explored a lot of things that most series shows rarely or never touched. Indeed. Absolutely. They weren't afraid to get a little dark, which, if you're looking for that, that is good. I do like the fact that some shows are willing to go there, right? They're willing to be brave. They're willing to tackle subjects that might be a little difficult, Showing it, acting in it, watching it as an audience member, that might be difficult, especially if you've gone through a situation that they're showing and it's rough or it's awful memory for you. Yeah, it is. What was that other show? 6 Feet Under that I reacted to, where people were just like, it's amazing that they actually showcased death in the way that they did. And the whole show was obviously around a funeral home. So you definitely deal with death literally every day. So it's one of those shows that, kind of get applauded, certainly, or deserves applause because they went there a lot of times. Just a beautiful thing. Let's go ahead and pull up some information on Shameless. There we go. Fiona. We'll start with Fiona. Main protagonist, central character, difficult position of being the oldest Gallagher child. Since she was 16 and her mother walked out, Fiona has taken care of her siblings and dysfunctional alcoholic father, Frank. Despite how stressful and chaotic her own life is, Fiona meets every challenge head on. Her siblings and father often turn to her when they get into trouble with the law. There's season 1. There's season 9. Despite her relatively solid track record as an organized caretaker for her siblings, she possesses a penchant for chaos, a trait which she manifests into perfectly stable relationships and opportunities. This is something which others tend to not do so subtly hint at, and Fiona herself admitting that she herself doesn't think she is entitled to stability as a result of her difficult upbringing. However, this aspect of her identity isn't something which emerges out of pure malice, rather a means of stabilizing after being denied a normal childhood by virtue of being forced into extreme responsibility at such a young age. Boy, the aliases are just pretty normal until you get all the way down to the bottom of that list. That one kind of jumped out at me. Oh, that's funny. Why did Fiona leave the show? Emmy, the actress portraying Fiona, declared her exit from the Showtime series in 2018. Fiona's departure takes place in the conclusion of season 9 as she chooses to embark on a fresh start following her largely successful real estate ventures. "33 years old by the 9th season." Interesting. Assumed the role of caregiver at 16, of course. Wow, that's young. That's absolutely young. What's up? What's up, Bormo? I am reading about Fiona Gallagher and Shameless, the U.S. version. We just reacted to Fiona and Carl. It was a beautiful edit. Forced to become the head of a household at 16. Hard worker willing to take on even the worst jobs to put food on the table for her kids. Her kids. No, the kids. However, she knows how to cut loose and goes out drinking and dancing with her best friend and next-door neighbor. Although normally level-headed, she can make ill-informed choices when she's been drinking. I mean, to be fair, that is kind of a side effect, right? And in season 4, a little, as they call it, booger sugar, or how else should we call it? Skied the slopes, if you will. A time-to-time incident that did not end well. In season 6, Fiona loses the house when her cousin, Patrick, took out a $60,000 loan and put up the house as collateral. Oh my gosh. When Patrick didn't pay back the loan, the bank foreclosed on the house, evicting everyone in the house. Fiona was able to buy back the house with the money that her little brother, Carl, dug up from the ground. Wow. Struggle between wanting to take care of her family and strike out on her own leads to problems for Fiona in later seasons. She begins to come into her own after she uses her determination and quick wit to make a series of mostly successful real estate ventures. Good for her. Good for her. All right, let's read about Carl here. Second youngest Gallagher child. When he was younger, he shared a room with his older brothers Lip and Ian. That sounds terrible. Terrible. Carl's character in season 1 debuts him as a troubled kid. He's seen torturing animals, yikes, physically bullying other children, yikes. When the school staff decides he needs to be expelled, Fiona has to find a way to fix it without a parent to show up for the parent-teacher meeting. Oh boy. Season 2, his love for selling drugs starts when his grandmother Peggy convinced him to get prescription drugs to take meth. Oh my gosh. Carl's delinquent side is somewhat on hold for season 3, but he does end up shaving his head due to Frank convincing him he has cancer. We see Carl's first love interest, Bonnie, in season 4, but the relationship ends when Bonnie disappears with her family to an unknown fate. His interests include drinking, weapons, explosives, and death. Well, that is a interesting combination. Good grief. Shameless and the Miracle of Fiona. Who is Fiona Gallagher? We could probably skip that. We kind of know about her at this point. What I like to show in this article is how her story, her context, and her personality make her what I call a little miracle. Now, I would like to clarify that by miracle, I do not understand any religious concept, even though the term in itself is one. By miracle, I understand a phenomenon that is unexplainable by any logical and rational reason. Interesting. All right. I don't know if that needs to be said, but okay. The mother of her siblings, I was 9 and taking care of you, taking care of all of us. I was in 4th grade, dragging your butts passed out in front of the yard so you wouldn't freeze to death, staying up all night with Ian when he had chicken pox. I washed Carl's dirty diapers, I'll say. I picked lice out of Liam's hair, and I was here when Debbie got her first menstrual cycle. Not Monica, me. Fiona to Frank, of course. The mother of her siblings. Fiona is 21 when we meet her in season 1 and is, in essence, a mom to her 5 younger siblings, a role that she has endorsed since she was at least 9. Although she has taken care of her 2 brothers, Lip and Ian, since before that. She explains in season 3, episode 7, that she took care of them when she was as young as 6. Good grief. She gave them motherly love, took care of each of them, implemented healthy rules for them to follow, brush your teeth, go to bed at a decent hour, do your homework, taught them the importance of committing and taking responsibility for what they do. She gave them a sense of familial structure, provided them parental love and care as much as she can, and portrayed the values and principles that they would then also acquire and follow. Now, if we look at any of the Gallagher siblings, they all have the virtues, principles, and qualities that Fiona has. They fight for justice and respect. They take responsibility for what they do. They love unconditionally and fight for those they love. Granted, they're not perfect either, and are still very much unstable, all of them. Lip becomes an alcoholic, even though he tries with all he has to not be like his father. Ian has a history of getting into abusive relationships. Yes, even Galovich, even though I love them all with all my heart. Debbie forces intimacy, a guy she's attracted to, and then believes being a teen mom is a good thing. Carl has serious issues with violence and harassment, and Liam doesn't think he belongs anywhere and wanders around trying to find mentors. Oh my gosh. Fiona can't replace all the parental love and care they need. It's just impossible. She has her own issues to deal with, but it is clear that the Gallaghers would be 10 times more unstable and unhealthy if Fiona hadn't been there. Executive producer and director of Shameless said, "There's no Fiona in the Milkovich household. That's the big difference. In the Gallagher household, there is a mother, and therefore there is a semblance of a family of structure and support." The Gallaghers versus the Milkoviches. Proof that Fiona Gallagher is the key. To better understand how Fiona is the explanation of why the Gallaghers are not as messed up as they are hypothetically should be given the environment, it is interesting to compare the family that to one that is very close and intertwined with them, the Milkoviches. I could talk for hours about the Milkoviches, as they are some of the most interesting and well-written characters in TV, in my opinion, but what basically needs to be known about them in this article is that they are violent, criminal, abusive, some of the most unhealthy people ever. I agree that their father, Terry, may have been even worse than Frank, but that fact alone can't explain the huge difference between the Milkoviches and the Gallaghers. The key to explaining their huge differences is Fiona. And as Mike Marlode said, the executive producer I just quoted, the love and structure that she has created and given to her brothers and sisters, that is also one of the reasons why the Milkoviches are so drawn to the Gallaghers. They basically have what the Milkoviches crave, which is love and family. When Frank yells and hits Ian in season 1, Fiona's there to protect her brother and kick Frank out of the house. When Terry yells and or abuses Mickey or Mandy, they have no one to turn to. They go smash and shoot things with a gun in an abandoned building, like Mickey does in season 3 after being forced upon under the orders of his father. Fiona is the key to understanding why, all in all, the Gallaghers didn't turn out like the Milkoviches. Interesting. Very interesting. Dean. Why is there a picture of Dean? Fiona versus Dean Winchester. Why Fiona is a miracle and Dean isn't. Shots fired. Shots fired. What? Oh my gosh. Boy, Supernatural fans weren't expecting that one. I will try another comparison in order to demonstrate my... Right. What is this? I will try another comparison to demonstrate my argument above. In this turn, I will take a step out of Shameless and take a look at my favorite show on Earth, Supernatural. Okay, well, at least we're coming from that aspect. In many ways, Fiona and Dean share similar traits. They are both the oldest sibling. Both have no mother. She left her family for one, and she has been killed for the other. Both their fathers are abusive and have not provided the love, care, and attention they needed as children. They both had to replace their parents for their younger siblings, and in many ways, we find in both of them the same qualities and same struggles, going as far as the same alcohol issues. But then, why do I talk about Fiona being a miracle and not Dean? This is blasphemous, is what this is. Talking bad about Dean will not be tolerated. Simply because there are reasons why Dean is who he is, why he has those qualities, values, and principles, and why he's been able to replace their parents to his brother Sam. There are two of these reasons. The first one is that Dean has known what a healthy family is and looks like. For the first 4 years of his life, he had two loving parents and was in essence living the dream. Then his mother died. His father became obsessive, manipulative, alcoholic, and abusive, and depraved his son from his childhood, forcing him to become a soldier and caretaker for Sam. But Dean had memories of what he should be providing to Sam. The other reason is Bobby Singer, who has been a loving and caring figure in Sam and Dean's childhood that has taken them to the park to play instead of learning how to shoot with a gun and kill vampires. Fiona had none of that. She has never known a moment in her life when her parents weren't addicts and neglecting her. Although there has been no evidence of that given in the show, it wouldn't be surprising to learn that she has even been neglected since she was born. While Dean had the first 4 years of his life, two loving parents, Fiona had nothing. But he was a kid. Yeah, exactly. Who remembers anything at 4? But I guess this is kind of that old-timey discussion of nature versus nurture. And even though you might not, remember your first 4 years of life, maybe it's just imprinted on you. I guess that's the argument here. I'm being as giving as I can. Fiona also had no other adult figure that gave her just a tiny bit of what her parents failed to provide her. She had no Bobby Singer. The closest person that she has is her best friend Veronica and her boyfriend Kevin. However, it seems like they didn't know each other when they were children. Fiona and Veronica most likely met and became friends when they were both adults, or at least teenagers. And no one else helps her. No aunt, no uncle, no grandparent, no external family friend. She has always been alone without anyone to take as a model or to provide her with what she needed. And that is precisely why I argue she is a miracle. She created her qualities, values, and principles out of nothing. There's absolutely no explanation for why she didn't become abusive like her parents. When she was yelled at or neglected by Frank or Monica, she had no one to turn to and no one to defend her, just like the Milkoviches. And yet she didn't become like them. The other Gallagher children have her to explain where their virtues and qualities come from. Dean Winchester has Bobby and a happy and healthy beginning of life, but Fiona had none. She had nothing, and yet she made it. Fiona Gallagher is a miracle. Well, there's the take. Do we agree with the take? Do we agree with that take? Obviously, having Bobby would help Dean tremendously. Like having some sort of external figure that at least was kind of normal. Yeah, I guess I kind of agree with that aspect. I don't know about, between birth and 4, all that much impact is going on, but who knows? I'm not a behavioral scientist. I'm just not. I'm not a youth psychologist. I have no idea. Interesting. I see what it was aimed at. Yeah, but I still think Dean was just a kid. Yeah, honestly, I kind of go both ways on this. Like, I understand the point of Bobby. Like, bringing up Bobby is a good point. And the fact that Fiona didn't have a Bobby kind of is an interesting thought bubble. But I don't know about between birth and 4 years old, if that would really rub off on him that much. Maybe. Although, yeah, I mean, I suppose. I'm arguing in my own head about, that bond that you have, that mothers typically have with their baby after they're born, and, bonding and all that stuff. Holding them close and, them feeling connected and all that stuff. Like, there's obviously something to all that. But would a baby pick up on parenting advice from birth to 4? That I don't know. That I do not know. We all need a Bobby in our life sometimes. Indeed. Indeed. Anyone else feel Fiona and Carl had by far the best sibling dynamic out of the Gallaghers? I don't know. Do we agree with that? Does anybody feel that? Here's what some people said. Carl was the only one to constantly make it clear he appreciated her. Fiona's most complex relationship was with Lip, which was primarily a sibling rivalry. Ian often distanced himself from the family. Fiona was the most protective of Debbie, who greatly envied her in return. You would almost think Fiona gave birth to Liam, considering how she's the only true maternal figure he's had. Somebody responded. Lip and Fiona being the oldest and had a really great dynamic. They were mature first and always had a clear grasp of things and always also worked to balance each other out. She pushed him to get through school. He always pointed out when she was being an idiot. I like their duo. Yep, even my personal favorite duo, Ian and Lip, had their instances when they let toxic pride, petty spite, and jealousy drive them apart temporarily, but Carl and Fiona never intentionally did anything to spite or hurt each other. There were several hints of Carl's inner loving personality and his true devotion to their family and his loyalty to Fiona. Take, for example, when the kids are split up by DCFS and Carl and Liam are placed with a gay couple who are considering adoption. So Carl goes to the bathroom on the couch and scribbles on the walls. He then blames it on Liam to discourage them from adopting him, then turns and gives Fiona, who is visiting, a sly wink, like, I got you, fam. And Fiona has to hide a smile. Even baby Liam plays along, pointing at the soiled couch and scribbled walls and giggling, yeah, I did that. Oh, I forgot about that. That's funny. They look like they could be siblings in real life. The scene where Fiona's taking out Carl's cornrows has just stuck with me. That scene always gets me too. Carl was almost always reasonable with everyone. That's her baby. Carl was Fiona's ride or die. That's funny. Each sibling dynamic was great, in my opinion. My favorite was definitely Ian and Lip. Interesting. Ian and Lip. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of their connection. Sharing a room together would definitely be an interesting dynamic. Like, that is very interesting. And I think doesn't Lip find out about Ian's double life, if you will, first? I think he does with the magazine. I think I remember that magazine moment, and he kind of like talks to him about it. My favorite scene is when Fiona lost the house and couldn't get the loan, generally breaking down at being unable to provide for her family, as she always has. Carl is lying down and sees this emotional breakdown, digs up his stashed money, and tells her to go buy back the house. My heart was aching. No one could convince me otherwise that they had the real sibling dynamic in the show. I cried at that scene, just watched it right now, and it broke my heart. I shared a room with my sister, so I get it. Oh, boy. Do we agree with this? Kylie Jenner named the #1 Gen Z star. Do we agree with that? That's totally random. Shameless Carl Gallagher fans were tricked into believing Fiona was his mother. I'm sorry, what? Shameless fans felt tricked into believing that Carl's mother was Fiona and not Monica. Find out why. Huh? Quick Google search of Shameless's Carl always raises the same common question asked by fans: is Fiona actually Carl's mom? Viewers of the Longtime series on Showtime were tricked into believing that Fiona birthed Carl, not Monica. One Carl Gallagher fan created a Shameless video that went viral. Shameless viewers began to wonder if Fiona was actually Carl's mom when a fan's YouTube video went viral. The video titled Shameless, Fiona is actually Carl's mother. That's a right-on-the-nose title. Contains scenes from the series put to music. There's also an explanation of the plot in the description. So in the beginning, Fiona gets pregnant with a high school boyfriend, the caption reads. He promises to help her take care of the baby. Lip thinks she's making a mistake keeping the baby, and Fiona doesn't know if she should keep it or not. Caption explains that Fiona decided to keep the baby, but her boyfriend eventually left her. Fiona gets lost and confused and scared. When she gives birth to Carl, she decides to raise him as a brother, like one of the Gallagher siblings. Lip thinks she's making a mistake, but he is still there for her. Video had over 1 million views and many comments from fans. Fiona is not Carl Gallagher's mother, although she did raise them for most of the series. When Shameless Season 1 began, Carl was 9 years old, and Fiona was 21. So the eldest Gallagher child was 12 years older when her sibling was born. She was not in high school yet, so the fan video is inaccurate. There's also one scene in Shameless between Monica and Frank that confirms Carl is their child. The couple is on a drug and alcohol bender when they reminisce about other similar instances that resulted in their children. During the scene, Monica admits that she was drunk throughout her pregnancy with Carl. Well, that kind of puts a fine point on it, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Why? Okay, this feels like somebody started that rumor just to put it out there and to see if it went viral. If the show explicitly says that Carl is Monica's son, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Maybe that person didn't even watch the full show. Fiona also had a moment when a coworker asked how many of the Gallagher children were hers. She responded that she birthed none of them, but is responsible for all of them. So the rumor that was spread by the fan video is not valid, although it did make many fans question whether Fiona could be Carl's mother. How old is Carl from Shameless? Is now in its 11th season. This was posted a couple years ago. So Carl is 19, but was only 9 when the show began. Ethan, who plays Carl, was born in 1999. As of writing this article, he's actually 21. Wow, it's crazy to see how much they've aged. Isn't that nuts? Oh my gosh, he began his acting career by playing Carl in Fred Claus. That's so funny. What if you went through your acting career and literally every character you've had is named Carl? That would be interesting. Is this video still up? Oh my gosh, it is. Shameless, Fiona is actually Carl's mother. 1.3 million views. Just wanted to try to explain it in case the video gets confusing. Got a cool idea from another creator, apparently. That'd be a cool plot twist. Carl and Fiona look the most alike. Anyone can be a mother, but it takes someone special to be a mom. Fiona was more of a mom to all of them than Monica could have ever been. It's fake, but that would have been craziness to add to the show. I always saw the resemblance in Fiona and Carl. This video is so touching. Somebody pointed out the ages there. Any true Shameless fan would know half the clips and quotes aren't even from the show. What? Interesting. Very interesting. Oh my gosh. You never know what you can find on the internet, right? Whoa. What's funny is I would almost consider that a form of fan fiction in a way. Like they're completely making up a part of the show. Obviously a little different fan fiction than what you would initially think, right? But I would kind of put that down as that. It's just kind of for fun, I guess. But I guess a lot of people either took it seriously or just didn't read into it, I suppose. But that is very interesting that blew up. 1.3 million views. Carl is Fiona's son. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a head scratcher. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was interesting. I was not expecting that at all. Shout out to the mods, Jace, Rocco, Kitty, and Luke for putting all these links together for the stream. I appreciate it greatly. Again, I have no idea what these links are going to be. So that was wild. That was a wild goose chase right there. That was fun. Very fun. All right, next up, and the final video of the night is House MD out of context. Completely out of context. This is from seasons 1 and 2. Is it illegal to perform an autopsy on a living person? Oh my gosh. This is going to be insane. I have watched most of House MD back when it was on television, running. It was phenomenal. You loved the show? I did too, honestly. I really did. It was fascinating. House MD was sarcastic and just a jerk in the most lovable way, even though he probably wasn't much of a lovable person to be around. But I don't know. As an outside observer, I just enjoyed him roasting other people and all that stuff. It was very fascinating. Very dry, very witty. I thought the shows were good. A lot of people said, it was just a repetitive show, which my comeback to that is, yes, it's a procedural show. They all go the same. There's an issue at the beginning of the episode. They get introduced to the team. The medical team has to figure out the issue. And then somehow House MD comes up with this wonderful idea and it saves the day. It's just like any other, lawyer show or doctor show or police show, firefighter show. I'm thinking 911. Like procedural shows are just that. They have procedures and it follows the same formula, but it is still an interesting story because there's other story arcs involved. Like it is fascinating to watch. It's fun. And if you enjoy procedurals, it is a good one for sure. Watched it on TV, then fully rewatched it when I got older. That's awesome. I still have yet to rewatch it now that I'm older. I think I missed out on the last season when it was on TV. So honestly, watching it again would be pretty awesome. I just have to, find the time, of course. This has 2.2 million views.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Could you do that again? That's very good.
Oh my gosh.
What happened? Paramedics took a week to respond to your 911 call?
You're not a very nice doctor, are you?
And you are very bad at whatever it is you do.
You don't even know me.
I know you're gonna get fired.
Have you completely lost your mind?
No, but I have been feeling a little sick lately.
There's no way we can do this surgery now.
Just dial it up a notch and repeat. I'll be back.
Just an absolute savage. Agreed.
He signed a DNR.
He rhymes with dinner? What can I say?
Do not
Chicks with no
resuscitate.
teeth turn me on.
That's fairly disgusting.
Since you're too sick to work in the clinic,
Okay.
Honestly, he treats his coworkers how I think a lot of people would treat their coworkers if they could do it without getting fired or having any sort of repercussions. Or maybe you get an email or something like that and it's just annoying and it's like, ugh, do I have to respond to this? And then you just want to write back a House MD kind of a Gregory House response to somebody. But you can't because you have to, be professional and all that stuff. And if you're in school, let's say your professor sends you an email about, hey, I need you to redo this, and you want to just reply with some sort of snarky comment, and you can't because you rely on that grade. Same thing. What's funny is when you're younger, you're like, oh, this is just school. When I get to be an adult, people are adults, and they're serious, and, I don't have to deal with these things. And then you get out into the real world, and you go, oh, the real world is just like school, minus the classes. It's exactly the same. Nobody knows what they're doing, and we're all there for a paycheck. And everybody's dealing with some sort of inner office politics, and it's just gross. Ugh, and we do it anyway. It's so bad. People are still the same school or work. Absolutely. And I would argue people don't mature past school for the most part. Obviously, as they get much older, there's a whole other level of maturity. But between school and within 10 years of your retirement, you're probably the same person. It's just very interesting. Oh my gosh. I've dealt with so much inner office politics and, well, this person likes that person, but they don't like this person. So you can't like that person and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, can I just not be involved, please? Can I just show up, do my work, go home, and then nobody talk to me? Don't send an email. Don't send a call. Nothing. Just let me do my work and I will leave. And then we will have a great parting and then I will go about my day. Oh, gosh. Sometimes it's brutal, but, sometimes it's okay. You live for the okay times. What's that saying? Don't live to work, work to live. It's very true. It's very true. Unless you find something that you're extremely passionate about and the people around you are also passionate about it and they're not, they're not into making other people look bad or to make themselves look better or anything like that. I mean, it's hard to find, but hopefully you can find something like that. It's just brutal.
Fine. I'll ask one of my other friends.
Huh.
What? You're saying I've only got one friend?
And who?
Kevin in bookkeeping.
Okay, well, first of all, his name's Carl.
I call him Kevin. It's his secret friendship club name.
What the hell?
You want to come in, smoke a little weed, watch some MTV? Excuse me. I have to go to jail.
As I get older, I become more and more like him. I feel
You
that.
assaulted that man.
Fine, I'll never do it again.
Yes, you will.
All the more reason this debate is pointless. The spirochetes that cause syphilis are eating away at your brain cells.
oh,
That's revolting.
It's not as revolting as chlamydia. It's got seepage.
The simplest explanation is always the best.
And you think one is simpler than two.
Pretty sure it is, yeah.
Baby shows up. Chase tells you that two people exchanged fluids to create this being. I tell you that one stork dropped the little tyke off in a diaper. You're gonna go with the two or the one?
I think your argument is specious.
I think your tie is ugly.
You want to know how two chemicals interact? You ask them. No, they're going to lie through their line.
He goes for the jugular, and it's so funny and satisfying every time. It is kind of funny. The older you get, you do kind of embrace this attitude, but it's difficult to, because you don't want to go this route of being super cynical about everything. It's hard not to. You want to keep just that glimmer of hope and, you know, positivity and all that stuff. It's tough. Some days are tougher than others.
Lying little chemical teeth. Throw them in a beaker and apply heat.
Even I don't like you.
How much morphine's the husband on?
We can't increase it anymore. His respirations are depressed.
Increase it. Drugs cloud people's judgment. Cold turkey this sucker.
Cold turkey this sucker.
No. Good point. I've got our culprit.
Who?
Not who. Who?
Huh? His bone marrow's indeterminate. Spleen biopsy's the only way to go.
You know, when the Inuit go fishing, they don't look for fish.
Why, Dr. House?
Is it still illegal to perform an autopsy on a living person?
Are you high?
If it's Tuesday, I'm wasted. Did you hike to the fence? And how far?
Yes. It's about a half a mile from my farmhouse.
Would you rather have dinner with your wife?
Yes, I would. If she were speaking to me.
Unlike her, I can make it worth your while.
He was losing blood, so I thought maybe he needed blood.
Go forth and scan his neck.
His neck?
Or repeat everything I say in question form.
Worst case, we could relist her.
Your house?
Well, that depends. Are you gonna hit Dr. House? Don't worry, her secret's safe with me. Hey, Wilson! Guess what Foreman just did? Our little girl is growing up. Okay, what's the best way to rip a woman from the side of her dying husband?
Dirty monkey. None of this has anything to do with Stacy.
Right. Giant coincidence that you've gone completely off the rails since she left. Inducing migraines, worsening leg pain.
Oh, you miss Stacy too?
I love cows.
Any particular variety?
Which are the black and white ones?
God.
I pass a farm on my way to school, and they're so beautiful. They're so majestic, I dream about them.
Excuse me, miss?
Finally found
do you
his
have
match.
cancer? Wow. Mango juice prevents cancer. Enzymes indicate
You want us to do a differential diagnosis on a dead person?
we're going to cure her.
We're going to cure death.
Doubt it.
Cause could be idiopathic.
Can't be idiopathic. Idiopathic means without a known cause.
What I meant was that...
What you meant was you don't know what the cause is. Just say that and we can avoid this conversation. No applause?
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't respect you if you did.
Oh! Wow. Looks like somebody filed halfway through your cane while you were sleeping.
Strobing lights and high-pitched sounds can
Oh, wow.
provoke a seizure.
You're a goof.
Takes one to know one, loser. Wait, that means I'm a loser. Scratch that.
Diagnosis like it's
What
nothing.
from him? More hand-wringing, more torment? You want him to cry himself to sleep at night?
Yeah! Perfect.
No one is safe.
Okay. That's it.
should know in a couple of days what's growing in your son's throat. Hello?
He can't talk.
Excuse me?
He had knee surgery
Right?
about a year ago, and then he couldn't talk.
Right. Yeah, well, that happens. You know, it's very dangerous operating so close to the vocal cords. Okay, we'll send your kid's culture to the lab, and somebody will call you.
I would guess it's the pneumonia.
He's taking college courses.
Oh my gosh. Boo! Trying to get a reaction out of the guy.
Hey, Wilson! I'm gonna cut some cripple's eye out. You wanna come watch?
Good times.
Guys in the
Good
ER,
times.
bleeding on everybody.
Drugs?
He's a cop.
Good point. How about drugs?
Gotta go.
Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful and just as funny as I thought it would be. Love it. Absolutely love it. I should definitely rewatch this show. Oh my gosh. Link down below in the YouTube video description for the original video. Check it out. Check out their channel as well. They might have other videos that might interest you, and maybe you want to request some for the stream. That would be awesome. It was so good indeed. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how good we had it. Did not realize. All right, let's pull up some information on House MD. Here we go. It lasted 8 seasons, which today is the longest running show. No. Things tend to get canceled pretty quickly. 89% by critics. All critics. 96% from the audience. Top critics, 85%, so clearly it was well loved. Fictional Princeton Plainsboro Teaching Hospital in New Jersey. Prickly genius, indeed. Dr. Gregory House tackles health mysteries, as would a medical Sherlock Holmes, all the while playing mind games with colleagues that include his best friend, oncologist James Wilson. House, an acerbic infectious disease specialist, solves medical puzzles with the help of a team of young diagnosticians. Flawless instincts and unconventional thinking help earn House great respect, despite his brutal honesty and antisocial tendencies. That is putting it lightly. Some would call it a jerk. He's kind of a jerk, but a sweet jerk, you know, one you can find some positives in. So it looks like every season did pretty well. Season 8, actually season 7 kind of dips a little. 60%. Interesting. What was wrong with season 7? 3 out of 5 critic reviews are positive. Fans still loved it, 94%. Let's see. How did a series that was once filled with so much creativity and ingenuity turn into an embarrassingly executed series? Interesting. It's kind of a downer review there. Not a lot of reviews. There's only 5, so I wouldn't give that 60% a lot of weight. Get the Medicine Drug, exploring the resurgence of House MD. You know what's funny is I saw a podcast clip of somebody that wanted to get Hugh Laurie, who played Gregory House, on the podcast so they could talk about House MD and whatnot. And Hugh Laurie's representative sent back, this is a paraphrase, it's not a direct quote, but it was basically along the lines of, Hugh said not only would he not come on the podcast and talk about it, but he would rather do anything else. And the hosts of the podcast are just like, that is the most Gregory House response to an invite that they could have ever got. And honestly, they were pretty happy with it. It was so beautifully put. In the still of the night, gnats freeze immovable in the air. Leaves cease their rustling, the wind's passage stopped up. The moon whispers a rumor, but a murmur. Hugh Laurie might be coming back to Cambridge this year. All that, while still goes back to its business. The night returns to its usual rhythm, appears as before, but is yet changed. Of all our famous alumni, there are few who so embody what the idealistic aspire towards than those of the Cambridge Brat Pack. The potential of Laurie returning to his native soil has so many fervor-inducing implications because alongside the rest of the 80s footlight success stories, Stephen Fry, Emma Thompson, he contributes so much to the Cambridge romance. But despite this more direct link to Cambridge, the first thing to enter most students' minds hearing this news seems to be less Laurie's footlight days, but more his role in the hit series House MD, a show loosely based on Sherlock Holmes, in which Gregory House, a misanthropic but impossibly intellectually gifted doctor, solves medical mysteries with the help of his team of experts and his best friend, Dr. James Wilson. There's a lot of medical malpractice and a lot of boob jokes, but it's not hard to get swept up in the wild ride. Laurie, with a scarily good American accent, very true. For the longest time, I had no idea Dr. House was not an American. His accent was phenomenal. House MD came to Netflix and Amazon Prime recently, provoking a flood of related memes on X and Reddit, as well as reposts, edits, clips on TikTok and Instagram. According to Google Search Analytics, online interest in the UK from April 2025 was equivalent to that of May 2012, when the show's final episode was aired. Parodies like Patient Needs Mouse Bites to Live have been circling since 2023. And of course, a series that was hailed the most watched TV show in the world in 2008 that ran for 8 years is bound to have some semblance of lasting popularity. I was surprised when I heard him talk outside the show. Wasn't that wild? Obviously, if you've seen him and things prior to that or whatever, you would know. But boy, it was an introduction for me to Hugh, and I had no idea he wasn't American. That was very strange to find out. And what's funny is that happens a lot. A lot of actors perfect the U.S. accent, and then you hear them in an interview, and you're just like, wait, what? When did they turn whatever, Australian, British, whatever? And you're just like, wow, I had no idea. I thought you were probably from, I don't know, whatever state. Maybe I'm just under house arrest, but it seems like everyone here has just got into the show. With the power of statistics on my side, over the whole UK for the past 5 years, Cambridge has been the 6th city most obsessed with our favorite medical practitioner. There we go. Of course, that's to be expected from a city with a relatively large student population, but those with larger proportions of students, like Leeds or Manchester, didn't even make the list. One answer can be drawn from this. We've got third-degree house fever, and there's no known cure. That's funny. That is very funny. However, it's called House MD for the same reason the BBC Sherlock series doesn't follow Arthur Conan Doyle's original titles, like A Study in Scarlet. The main attraction isn't the medical miniseries, it's the detective. Not only House himself, but it is, I think, the series' attention to all its characters and social minutiae? What? Minutia? What is that? I've never seen that word before. That keep its audience engaged, especially considering the mystery element is inevitably diluted when a show is put on a streaming platform rather than weekly episodes. That's true. That is absolutely true. That's part of the reason why I'm not a huge fan, just like the guy who plays Buck in 911. That's a good point. That's a very good point. I would have had no idea that Oliver, I believe, Oliver Stark is his name, was an American. And then I heard him, obviously reacting to the show, and I'm like, whoa, what? You can put Princeton Plainsboro into the mold of a faculty building with relative ease. As you could imagine, Gregory House is a particularly iffy supervisor. Though following the source material's rule of a Watson-Wilson sidekick for Sherlock House is definitely a core part of the show, the addition of 3 subordinate prodigies is unique to House and part of its particular appeal. Like Cambridge student, House's underlings were pooled to learn from the very best based on confusing and unrelated qualities. 3 smart kids in a room is basically the composite of a typical college class. Foreman, Cameron, and Chase are either given their own weekly assignments, which are only slightly more stressful than ours. That's funny. 7 uncomfortable House episodes that are hard to rewatch. Ooh. Okay, I'm interested. How are they hard to watch? For all its intelligence and wit, however, House could be a deeply unsettling series. Beneath its procedural style structure laid some of the show's most intense storytelling. House's struggle with addiction, his lack of personal care for his colleagues, trauma that wove the rest of the House team in any given episode. Okay, all right, let's see. Number 7, Autopsy, Season 2, Episode 2. Has a case of the week that centers on a 9-year-old girl who's battling terminal cancer. Shown to be emotionally mature for her age, as she's had to grow up quickly due to her diagnosis. With a bad prognosis, Andy, the girl, calm acceptance of what comes next is haunting to watch as House and the team try to help. It's one of the most heartbreaking episodes of House. Autopsy sees the team working hard to try to find a sliver of hope for the patient and her family, but as she begins to decline, it's clear that nothing will be able to truly help. Andy's conversations with House, especially when she asks if dying hurts, pierce through the show's typical cynical tone and create something gut-wrenching. Yeah, that's brutal. Okay, yeah. I forgot about moments like that. It can be absolutely sad. Just soul-crushing, heart ripping out of your chest. Yeah, I completely forgot about those moments. Yeah, that's brutal. Sometimes he didn't always do it. And that's what made the show interesting. If he was always succeeding, it wouldn't be interesting. There are episodes that still haunt me. Oh my gosh. I guess I put them out of my mind or something. Number 6 is Forever. The end of House Season 2 offers some twists and turns. Forever sees a tragedy hit the team harder than expected. Postpartum mother into the hospital after she's drowned her infant son and nearly taken her own life. As the team works to save her life, the aftermath of her depression and psychosis overpowers everything else. It's one of House's most gut-wrenching episodes. Forever watches the team struggle to cope with the horrors of what their patient did. Although it's uncomfortable, House works hard to ensure that viewers can't turn a blind eye to the tragedy unfolding before them. Instead, leaning into the discomfort of the situation. The emotional heaviness of the episode makes it very hard to revisit. Number 5, Wilson's Heart. After the bus crash in the previous episode, House Season 4, Episode 16, sees a devastating fallout that changes the course of the series. As House regains his memories after the crash, he realizes that Wilson's girlfriend, Amber, has severe injuries that he's not able to treat. Amber's eventual death fractures House and Wilson's long-standing relationship. The emotional weight of House attempting to save Amber and ultimately knowing it's impossible is unbearable, especially seeing it through the lens of House's friendship with Wilson. Stripping away House's arrogance, he's shown as a broken, guilt-ridden, vulnerable person who knows he's going to lose something important by failing to save someone else's life. Oof. This is the episode? Oh, boy. Yeah, I think I remember that episode. I've done well enough to not remember it, but I think I remember bits and pieces of that episode. Oh, it's brutal. Bombshells. Season 7, Episode 15, dreamlike episode, takes a massive turn as the hour moves the show's story forward. When Cuddy finds blood in her urine, she becomes ill and is quickly convinced that she has kidney cancer. Going through a barrage of tests, Cuddy has fever dreams interspersed throughout the episode, which shifts the episode tonally more than once. Although the dream sequences bring some levity, things change again when Cuddy realizes that House has relapsed and is on Vicodin again. Messy, painful reality of Cuddy's decision to break up with House after years of build-up feels like a wound rather than a bomb. Start of House's emotional unraveling mixed with Cuddy's staunch stance makes Bombshells too hard to come back to. Number 3, Help Me, Season 6, Episode 22. Sees House joining a disaster response team at the site of a collapsed building, working tirelessly to save a trapped woman called Hannah. House has to split his time between helping her stable and diagnosing the crane operator who'd passed out prior to the tragedy. Dealing with his inner emotions as well, House struggles mightily throughout the episode. Final scene of the episode is a complicated one as House comes close to relapsing before Cuddy saves him without intending to. Patching House up, Cuddy reveals that she's ended things with her fiancé, and the two share a kiss, leaving something hopeful and uneasy in the air. While the House and Cuddy progress is great, Help Me is emotionally exhausting in a way that's tough to revisit. Remember this one too is intense? Oh my gosh. I don't remember that one. I do not remember that one. Number 2, Everybody Dies. Season 8, Episode 22. I definitely haven't seen this one. Season 8, the final season, is incredible episodes of the show, builds to its conclusion, but its finale is a bleak reminder of what the show has been trying to tell viewers for years. After House is trapped in a burning building with a patient, he has to deal with his own life choices as he decides what's next. House has to come face to face with his own pain, self-destruction, and decision-making. Though House appears to die in the fire, it ultimately revealed that House has faked his own death to disappear with Wilson, who's been revealed to be dying of cancer. House's series finale is a tough rewatch because of its raw emotional brilliance, which makes it feel like a never-ending goodbye. Number 1, Simple Explanation. Did we see this one coming? Season 5, Episode 20. Reveals that Lawrence has died by ending himself in a subtle, emotional, explosive way. When Kuttner doesn't show up for work, House tasks 13, Olivia Wilde's character, and Foreman to check on him at home. After Kuttner is found, the rest of the team is sent reeling as they move through the emotions of trying to work while processing their grief and disbelief. While House becomes obsessive about figuring out why Kuttner ended his life, others struggle in different ways. One of the most emotionally honest episodes of House, but feels impossible to relive and time again. I remember that one. Pretty sure I remember that. That was, I think that was like 2008, 9, somewhere around there. And I think the reason why they killed off the character was because Cal Penn actually was tasked with working in the White House. So he went to politics instead of being on the show, obviously. So that was kind of why they killed the character off, because he literally could not do it anymore. So yeah, I remember that big time. That was a very tough episode. They went real dark on that. 10 episodes of House that can be called masterpieces. Number 10, No Reason. Season 2, Episode 24. Second season ends with one of the series' most compelling episodes, working on a case of a man with a swollen tongue when the husband of a former patient walks into his office and shoots him in the stomach. Wow. House continues to try to figure out what's happening with the patient while he himself is a patient in the ICU. As the episode continues, he begins to question his own ability to treat the patient effectively. What makes the episode one of the best is the fact that it showcases just how human and fallible House is. That kind of makes sense. Honestly, he was painted as like a unstoppable character, basically. Number 9, Help Me. Season 6, Episode 22. Obviously, this was the one we just went over here. Another season finale that provides an opportunity to highlight what a complex character House has always been. His relationship with Cuddy was always a source of intrigue, indeed. However, this season finale sets up a new chapter for those two who have been going through so much. Dynamic shift, for sure. Number 8, Both Sides Now, Season 5, Episode 24. House and the team treat a patient with alien hand syndrome after undergoing surgery to treat epilepsy. Cuddy and House also navigate the fact that they spent the night together, ask themselves what this means. What are we? House decides to quit Vicodin after spending the night with Cuddy, is what we'll say. House realizes that he never actually spent the night with Cuddy and had hallucinated the entire thing. This episode is an example of House successfully subverting expectations using a relationship that was always a highlight of the series. I remember that. That was very funny. Because the whole episode, you're like, wow, okay. And then you realize it was all for naught. House's Head, Season 4. One of the most dramatic episodes. Begins with House being dazed and confused after surviving a bus crash. While he can't remember the details, obviously this is the one with Amber. Through his hallucinations, he ultimately realizes that Amber is the one who's severely injured. He remembers seeing someone who says is going to die, and he's trying to figure out who is this person. Turns out it's Wilson's girlfriend. Episode's a masterpiece because it feels like a psychological thriller. Number 6, 3 Stories, Season 1. Wow, Episode 21. Provides valuable insight into House as a character and how he became the man we see in the show. House is given an opportunity to be vulnerable about his physical and emotional pain, which is a massive change from him being so closed off. While House, as a lecturer, uses sarcasm and dark humor, he also finds a way to tell his story on his own terms and explain why he's suffering. Season number 5, obviously the finale. House recognizing that his relationship with Wilson was always the most important one in his life. Of course. Number 4, Simple Explanation. We're seeing a lot of repeats here. And it makes sense, right? This was the aftermath of Kuttner's ending. Kuttner's death marked a turning point in the series, and each of the 3 characters had to deal with the fallout in their own way. Honest reflection of what the aftermath of ending oneself looks like and how devastating it is to anyone who has lost someone in that way. It was extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Phenomenal episode, but very traumatic. Yeah. Those are indeed the episodes that stay with you. Absolutely. Wilson's Heart, number 3, Season 4. 2-part finale. House races to save Amber, who's critically injured in that bus crash that I was talking about. As House regains his fragmented memories, he realizes that Amber had taken flu medication that became fatal when combined with the crash-related trauma and kidney failure. Despite the team's best efforts, Amber can't be saved, and Wilson makes the devastating decision to let her go. Amber's death is a devastating moment for Wilson, who had been planning his entire life with her. Oof. This episode is a chance for House to show up for his friend in his own way, even though he has always had a hard time getting in touch with his own emotions. Amber's death provides a sobering reminder that even the most brilliant minds are limited by human nature and circumstance. Number 2, After Hours, Season 7. Follows House as he tries to remove the tumors caused by an experimental drug he's on. He attempts surgery on himself. However, this quickly goes sideways as he finds himself in worse pain than ever before and close to death. 13 also tries to help a friend living with a substance use disorder who needs emergency medical care after being stabbed. Dang. Intensity, yeah. Definitely seems like an intense one. Oh my gosh. And the number 1, Broken. I'm having to use my keyboard because my mouse is apparently dead, which is terrible timing. Terrible timing. It's one of those Apple mouses or mice, where it has the charger on the bottom. The charger on the bottom. What a dumb place to put the charging port. Why would you do that? That makes it unusable. Literally makes it completely unusable. Broken's the best episode of House because it provides viewers with an immense immersive experience as everyone is invited to experience House's hospitalization with him. This is a turning point for House as a character who, until this moment, has used his sarcasm and undeniable medical skills as a shield for emotional pain. This is the start of House finally being honest with himself and interrogating the root of his suffering. Inconvenient place, indeed. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. It's a good thing I can get out of here without the mouse. But I appreciate it, everybody being here. Happy Monday. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Enter the Joyful Holiday Sweepstakes, toddreacts.com. Right at the top, there's an Enter Today button. Do that, and you could win yourself some merch. Free shipping as well. I cover it all. It's just my way of giving back to YouTube subscribers. I appreciate you being here. Join the Discord. Boy, my mind was just going. Join the Discord. I'll see you in the Discord. Check out the merch. Ships worldwide. 15% off for members. Follow the Twitch channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All that good stuff. If you want to request your own videos and literally guide the stream, you can do so. toddreacts.com. Sign up for the memberships, and you can have whatever videos you want on here, basically. I hope that stars, time zones, and schedules align so I can join the live. Well, I'm glad you were here. I appreciate it. I know it's late. I know it's very late. So thanks for being here. And hopefully you can join again soon sometime. But this will be up on YouTube as quickly as humanly possible. I will try to get it up there as quickly as humanly possible. But 3 a.m., oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, get some sleep. All right, everybody, I will see you on Wednesday, programming note. I will be live on Wednesday. That'll be posted to YouTube as well. Just kind of making up for a stream that I missed. So I'll be back on Wednesday, and then we'll have a regular Friday. But I will see you all soon. Take care. Have a great week. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye, everybody.